Now, these are some of the advice that I would give myself, my younger self. All right. Number one, red flags do not correct themselves. And these red flags express themselves in marriage because marriage often affords you freedom of expression. So when you see the red flags and you know that there are red flags that you cannot handle, even in courtship, please don't think that they're going to change. All right? People don't change so fast. So once you see a red flag that you know you can't deal with, if you were to take this marriage or if you were to take the relationship down the lane to the aisle, know that you're going to suffer greatly because it will magnify 3 times or 10 times, tenfold. So what you cannot handle during courtship, know that you won't be able to handle it in marriage. It always does magnify. What you can't control, what you can condone in courtship will definitely rear its ugly head after marriage. So you need to be very careful. Don't ignore red flags. This is one of the mistakes that a lot of women, a lot of men have made, ignoring the red flags, thinking that people will change or whosoever they're with will change with time. No, people don't change easily. So have that at the back of your mind. Number two, I need you to know that the best way to build with a man is to build yourself. If you don't build yourself, you have nothing to fall back on, to be honest with you. Like I said, people change. Who's to say that this kind man wouldn't change in the future? Who's to say this quiet man wouldn't be violent in the future? Who's to say that this man who is caring right now cannot switch up on you? So build yourself in such a way that if anything happens, you have something to fall back on and that you're not totally reliant on him, on his resources, because some men can use their resources as weapons, financial weapons. There are cases where men have used finances as weapon against women, stopping them from finding the freedom that they deserve. So build yourself. That's the best way you can be with a man. Build yourself. Because the truth is, you never really lose anything. Instead, you upgrade. Never spare your dreams for your man. There is enough sacrifice in marriage for you to spare your dreams for your man. You could align with him and, build him, or not build him. Everyone should build themselves. But you can never sacrifice your own happiness, your own career, your own joy, your own money, your own potentials, just because you want him to build his. This is for eventualities in the future. Something can happen, death can happen. What would you be left with? Number 3, you need to realize that you just don't marry a man. You marry his gene, you marry his family, you marry his pattern, you marry his behavior, you marry his intellect or his intelligence, and you marry so much more. I find it so funny when a woman says that, when she gets married to a man, she's going to cut off every ties with her mother-in-law if the mother-in-law is bad, or maybe she's had tales of bad mother-in-laws, so it's going to be just him and her. Truth be told, that man you're married to, you're not just married to him, you're married to his family, you're married to his siblings, you're married to everything that is tied to his apron. You're married to his gene, his DNA. And that's why it's imperative for you to make the right choices. Right? And for you to make the right choices, you have to look deeply into the person. What is he on about? What's his mindset like? What's his values? What are his goals? What's his view on world's perspectives? You've got to figure out who this man is, because that's the same value he's going to instill in your children. So if you've got a man who does not have great value, or he's coming from a background that has been violent, just know that you have a lot to deal with, because every woman is a generational decision maker. And that's why you've got to decide carefully and prayerfully who you want to spend the rest of your life with. That's going to act as a pivotal point in your life. That's going to change the direction of your life. As soon as you get married, as soon as you walk down the aisle with a person, it changes everything. everything you believe in, everything you hold fast, it changes. And it changes so quickly, especially if you're married to a person who doesn't align with your life's purpose, with your goals and your aspirations and all of that good stuff. So please do not rush into it because you think time is running out, so you settle for less. Don't settle for less, because at the end of the day, you will pay dearly for it. Number 4, you need to know the difference between emotional decision and logical decisions. This is where the power lies. If you make decisions based on emotion, you're definitely going to make a lot of mistakes, because emotions are fleeting. Emotions are always off the heart and not the head. And sometimes when we make decisions out of our heart, we're always blinded by the realities, by the things that are right before us. But if you can make logical decisions based on the things that are right before you, no gray areas, your black and white are black and white, you would definitely see the flaws and see the imperfection and weigh them and see if you would be able to handle these imperfections 10 years down the lane. Because like I said, when you walk down that aisle, things always magnifies. Flaws magnifies. So you have to be logical, much more logical when you are falling in love. And you've got to be logical when you decide to want to fall in love with someone, because truth be told, when you fall in love with someone without being logical based on the things they say or how they act, you will pay the price dearly for when chaos begin to happen, when there are indifferences in your relationship, or when there are turmoils in your relationship. And because you formed a bond, maybe bond out of sex or bond out of whatever level of communication both of you have had, it will be much more harder for you to cut off such bond, because you've invested your emotions into it. You've been blinded by your feelings. And so you cannot make rational decisions based on uncomfortable situations that you found yourself in. And that's why moving forward in my love life, I have come to a decision, or I've come to a point where I no longer would allow my feelings override my depth of reasoning. Because once that happens, you start to give excuses for some of the flaws that you know you shouldn't give excuses for. And when you're neck deep into that relationship with that person, you find it difficult to move on, and you start fighting hard to break the bonds that you've created. And trust me, breaking bonds, especially bonds that are sexual, is hard. You would wish you never started and then you even started. Okay, so before you get emotionally involved with someone, make sure that you're logically involved with them in such a way that you see things the way they are, and you're not making excuses whatsoever for their flaws, their excesses, and their attitude. Number 5, you are complete as a woman. Don't let anyone make you feel less of a woman. You don't need a man to feel whole. But that doesn't change the fact that, a man and a woman's life is important and integral, especially a good man. However, just know that you are made as a completion and perfection to that man. And you are his favor magnet. All right? You are his favor magnet. Have you ever seen a situation when a man marries a woman and things starts to change for the better for him? He starts to have open doors, miracles right, left, and center. And that's because he's gotten himself a good woman, a woman who is complete and whole all by herself, a woman who is healthy emotionally, has fought her traumas. She's fought and conquered her traumas, and she's complete. She's loving wholeheartedly without any drawbacks. Do you get what I mean? So even the Bible says a man marries a woman, a good woman, a virtuous woman, and obtains favor from above. So you're a favor magnet. You're not incomplete without a man. You're rather a completion to him. I need you to have that at the back of your mind whenever you're dealing with a man who, makes you feel less. If you're dealing with a man, especially if you're single, that makes you feel less, you need to leave that relationship quickly, because he would always make you feel that way. And you can never attain your potential as a woman who is a magnet of favor if you're with that kind of man. You need to be with a man who understands that you are his blessing and you're complete. And with you, both of you are whole. Separately, both of you are whole. Together, you are whole. There is no difference. There is no fraction. Do you get what I mean? There is no fraction. Number 6, you need to fix yourself before you fall in love. A lot of people get into relationships with traumas, past traumas from past relationships. And so you don't have a smooth sailing relationship with a person because you start having anxiety based on what experiences you've had in the past. You need to fix yourself. Fix your anxiety. If your last partner cheated on you, forget about it. And just know that the next person that you're going to be with is going to be a man who will not cheat on you. And believe that until proven otherwise. But you're not sticking that at the back of your head and, snooping around just to find mistakes or just to find, traces of him cheating. Because if you do that, you'll be paranoid and you will start searching for things that aren't there. And because he already senses that you feel like he's not faithful in a relationship, he will become unfaithful because you've already projected it. All right. So fix yourself. Your past relationship and whatever you suffered in your past relationship is not your fault. You need to realize that. If you were maltreated in your relationship in the past, doesn't make it good. But then again, don't think that the next partner who is going to come will maltreat you as well. You can discuss about how that triggers you or how certain things trigger you and let it be and just love wholeheartedly. But you have got to fix yourself first before you fall in love or before you get into another relationship, and stop having rebounds. If you lost a relationship before, you've just gotten out of a relationship, you don't need to get into another relationship to feel less lonely. Stay with yourself. Heal. Fix your traumas. Fix your fears. Heal. And when you know that you're fully healed, and take all the time in the world to heal. There is no time frame to your healing. Take the time to heal. And when you know that you're fully healed and you're ready to open that door for the next person, open it with your logical senses at play. Half the time why we get into relationships that aren't good for us is because we allowed our emotions take the better part of our sense of reasoning. We do not listen. Sometimes when you're emotional, you listen less to what the person is saying. It's always there in their words. You will know the kind of person that you're with by the things they say. So if something does not sit right with you when he says certain things or has a certain opinion you do not fancy, you know you've got to move away from that situation. You've got to address it. And if he still doesn't see a reason with you, then don't push it any further, thinking that he's going to change his opinion or his attitude towards you. Just because you're feeling emotionally attached to a person does not mean that they're right for you. Get this straight. You could feel like this is the person for you today, and on God's plans or in God's plans, they're not the ones for you. And if God doesn't want you to get married or hitched to someone who is wrong for you, he will do it in all ways He will see to it that that relationship never works. That's how God can be when he doesn't want his children to fall into the wrong hands. Don't play with God. So never you force connections. If the connection is not working, it's not working. And it doesn't make you less of a lover, a good lover. It just positions you to the right person. When the right person comes, it becomes easy. Listen, let me tell you something. When the right person comes, relationship becomes a lot easier. You do not have to doubt anything. You do not have to worry about anything. You do not have to calculate. You do not have to wait and sit and wonder why things are taking different shapes and taking different direction. You don't have to question anything. It's just easy. See, once the relationship is not easy, if it's not feeling effortless, then just know that that's not the sort of relationship God wants you to be in, and you need to walk away. Any second that you give to it is going to be years of turmoil, stress. You don't want that. Honestly, you want peace of mind. Number 8, I need you to understand that being the chosen woman is not a flex. So don't think that because you've gotten him means that you've won the prize. No, you haven't. Because when you overlook the real reason why his relationships did not work in the past with other women, you will start to see the reason why you shouldn't have overlooked it in the first place. And the real question that you should be asking yourself is, can you cope with the red flags that his former woman saw and probably endured and cannot endure anymore and had to leave? Sometimes some people are just good to be left alone. Number 9, when a man's action does not correlate with his words, or when his actions do not match his words, you need to watch his actions, because men don't communicate like women. Women communicate through words. We talk. Men half the time don't talk. He will tell you all you need to know through his actions. So if he's not telling you he loves you, but you can see it through the things that he does, that's good enough. But if he's telling you he loves you, but you're not seeing the action, he's never consistent, he's giving you mixed signals, just know that he doesn't really love you. He could be infatuated, all right? He could be love bombing you. He could be breadcrumbing you, and you don't want that. So don't always think that when a man says so many words and he's giving less action, he still loves you. As a matter of fact, actions are much more important to the things that people say, because people can just say anything. It is easier to say anything and not stay by it or stick by what you said. But it is a lot more meaningful when people do, when people are doers, when people are action takers. So watch his actions, all right? His actions are indicative of how he places you in his life, or where he places you in his life. Number 10, never let a man abandon you twice. Never let a guy abandon you twice, my darling. If he comes back, listen, you're still on your own. So stop being confused, because that man is not confused. You're the one who is confused, or you're the one who is throwing blind eyes and leading your mind into a state of confusion. He knows exactly what he wants. He knows exactly what he's doing to you. He knows exactly what he shouldn't be doing, but yet he still does it. A man knows. You necessarily don't have to tell him what he's doing is wrong. He knows exactly what he has done to you. He knows it hurts you. He knows it. And if he still decides to go on hurting you, it's because he wants to hurt you. So it is in your best interest to safeguard your heart and your life. Number 11, men focus on women who focus on themselves. Because listen, this is a sign for you to get a life of your own. If your life is too full, dependent on a man, you would lose the spark, the thrill, the mystery. If you keep chasing him, he will keep running away because you're being the man. You're in your masculine energy. When you chase, you're always in your masculine energy. I've said this time and time again. If a man is not pursuing you, do not pursue in any shape or form. Because the more you focus on him, the less he will be focused on you. But the more you focus on your goals, you're like a cupcake. You always have to maintain your frosting. All right? If not, the sweetness just turns into sour or bitter taste or whatever the case is. Never, ever, ever chase, no matter how much you love a person. If they're not putting efforts in pursuing you and showing that they want to be with you, do not put an effort into it, because at the end of the day, they're placing you on a pedestal where you have to exhume your masculinity. And any woman who is in her masculine energy will exert too much of herself in trying to keep a relationship. Listen, if you want to know if that relationship is right for you, number one thing that you should take home is that it is always going to be easy and free-flowing. The energy is going to be free-flowing. You would not have to doubt 1 second of the day that this guy doesn't like you. All right? Or this guy does like you. You will never have to doubt, because he will be intentional, and men know what they want. If you're not in the picture, you're not what they want. Okay? So don't go trying to change anyone or to make anyone see your worth. Listen, you'll be trying too hard and for a long time. Okay? So this is where I'm going to end this advice. I hope you do take note and act accordingly. Know that you're the prize. Women, you are the prize. And listen, what belongs to you would always come back to you. What doesn't belong to you, no matter how you chase it, will never stay, will never come back to you. All right? And what you need to do is blow them to the wind. You know why? Because it is a good thing. You're opening the door for the right person. Okay? All right. So from me to you, know that I love you and God loves you best. Mwah.